What's going on, y'all? My name is Torian Washington, visual artist, and I'm here with you for Art Takes. Art Takes is a new segment where we talk about the world of art and intersecting that with pop culture. So today, our topic of today is, should white male artists be canceled? We talk about cancel culture in our society. So many people, celebrities, public figures, have done certain acts to, have people withdraw from them, or even companies like Target be boycotted. So everybody's not perfect, right? But let's say if, it's like, what's the grace, right? What's the grace period if it's just a one instance and that person showing remorse and a move to change? Should we give that person another shot? Should we continue to support that person? Or if this person has a repeated pattern of behavior, should we then disengage and not associate with them because they've proven that they're not remorseful and they keep hurting and abusing people? So with the world of art, we all know that white male artists are the dominant default figure. They don't have white artists. There's every other artist. Like, there's black artists, there's Asian artists, Indian artists, but there's not white artists. So by white being the default, I think it absolves a lot of accountability, and it's almost like, hey, like this, they're not visible or not seen, but yet European or white male artists dominate the whole field of visual art. So I just wanted to bring this up because there's been a lot of actions in history of white male artists that have done things that have really affected a lot of people. Some things that really just make things distasteful. But should we still support their art, even as big as they are? Should we still support the art? So my first example is Pablo Picasso. So Pablo Picasso, yes, someone will say he's from Spain, but I honestly feel that, like, people who are from Spain are more European than those from Mexico. I feel like there's like a big segregation between those two groups. I don't think a lot of those people would really mesh, because I think someone from Spain would almost feel like they are white, as opposed to being from, like, other parts of South America or even Mexico. So I think there's, like, and I'm not one that's super versed in the Latin diaspora, but at the same time, a lot of people who are from Spain appear that they're white, and a lot of times they're passing. Passing means that you can, by your complexion of your skin, could identify as another culture. So someone who's from Spain could identify as white, and we wouldn't even know. So that's why I'm considering, like, Pablo Picasso as a white artist, because he kind of ushered his way even back in the day to France and the whole European white the white hierarchy. He wanted to get into that group. So the reason why I say Pablo Picasso, because you look at his paintings and the cubisms and how figures are distorted. For me, as a fan of Pablo Picasso, I was so in awe of, like, his style. If you see, as I'm talking, these images that you see, it's like his style is amazing, right? He's a master of style. But then if you get into the context, he's talking about, he has a history of being a womanizer, and history of just having sex and discarding women. He even was saying, like, women are either a doormat or a queen, or just the very nature that he's been with women, and then the fact that he depicts them in that distorted, grotesque way. It's almost like he's using the canvas to abuse the women. And basically, like, he had women in his life that he depicted in that way, so they weren't pleasant. And it's like, if someone was to do that today, like, almost have terror with the images of women, they would definitely be canceled. Like, they would be Me Too'd. But yet Picasso, is one of the most established artists. Yet he's in, big museum collector, sold lots of millions of dollars. Also, for those that don't even know, he's actually had an affair with a 17-year-old. So he was 45 and this girl was 17, and it was a public thing. So it's like, that's underage right there, of course. Not to say, like, everybody, like, no one's perfect. But my thing is that he had a continued behavior of womanizing, objectifying women. Like, in his paintings, they weren't just like depicted of the aesthetics of the beauty. They were sexualized, hypersexualized. They were like almost like in a violent manner, like the way that he did it. And it's like one thing you see about, oh, you see it from the not the context. You're like, oh, this is like an interesting style. But if you like, go with the context of how he conducted his life, how he treated women, it's like you're just like, oh snap, like he's really like abusing them as an artist. He used his power as an artist to terrorize women, and yet we still hold him like near and dear as one of the great artists. So just like they're taking down statues, or even with the Trump administration, they're removing history, like from the African American Museum, the Smithsonian. Like we should go back as art lovers, and like, hey, like we can stop supporting that. We can stop supporting the messaging is that Picasso had, despite him being one of the greatest artists. And even another person, Paul Gauguin, right? So he's another artist, and he's basically known for going to Tahiti and depicting Tahitian women. So you're thinking on his paintings are very vibrant with a lot of warm and tropical colors. You're thinking like, man, he's really has an affinity for this place, and he's from France, but he went to Tahiti. And what we come to find out is that he was actually like abusing young Tahiti girls. So these were like 14, 15 years old that he's having sex with as a grown man. And hey, like that's not cool, you know. And that's definitely like something that should be where we take that and be like, you know, what is this exploitive nature that we're depicting with these paintings, and we're just promoting it and giving him like all the lore. He even has a movie that came out a few years back, a Hollywood production movie of his life. I don't know how, and again with Picasso, I don't know how many books. I remember Anthony Hopkins, was Picasso for a movie, and then the National Geographic Channel had like The Genius, and Antonio Banderas was playing Picasso. So it's like you have these big white artists that are, their history, their lore, their legend are continuing to be passed down from generation to generation. But yet these people weren't really the best people. And even with, and it's kind of like, can these people that are big artists be canceled? And I know one person who they actually did cancel was Chuck Close. So I know he passed a few years back, but he had like sexual assault, sexual harassment claims by like 6 women. And then the National Gallery of Art canceled the show in 2018. And then even like he was removed from the Yale the Yale Dean Council. So they took him off. So I mean that is actually true cancellation, and it's like to be honest with you, I don't think he was big enough. Like if he was a bigger artist, he might not be able to like been penetrated, but the fact that he was still like a contemporary artist, he was big, but he wasn't like Picasso big. He wasn't Jeff Koons big. He wasn't, but still he was a big artist, and that shows that it can happen. So my thing is like, why do we give them a pass, and other artists are, such as Kehinde Wiley, like right now he's facing some claims. So it's like, can the same effect be on these artists that we hold high regard, or is it because of this recent time that it's being applied to people now like public figures? So I just wanted to bring that up to you and just say, hey, like some of your greatest artists are very very sexually inappropriate, misogynistic, womanizers, but yet we give them all the praise. So again, this is my art take. This is Torian Washington, and we'll see you soon. Peace.